My name is Marcus, and this is Wilhelm. We are 2 out of 3 co-founders at Studemia. We are from Stockholm, Sweden, and no, we're not brothers, but almost. Studemia is a resource and project management tool tailored specifically for students. Let me tell you how we came up with this idea and how it was born. About 4 years ago, we started a web production agency in Sweden, which became quite successful over a short period of time. Later on, we decided that we wanted to go back to school and study to get a degree, back to the university. But when we came there, after coming from a qualified work back to the university, we discovered that there are 2 quite major problems when you study. First of all, lots of wonderful and useful material is being created each day, such as lecture notes, wonderful essays, etc. They are being locked up in a private Dropbox folder somewhere or in a drawer, and is never shared with anyone. That's a problem. And secondly, students are not efficient while collaborating, not in any way. So the feeling we got when we returned to the university was that everyone was wasting their time. This is just an example. Say that me and Wilhelm were about to write an essay together. We would definitely encounter some of the following problems. First and foremost, communication. Should we speak via Facebook, email, SMS? Should we call each other? I don't know. How should we divide up the work and who should be responsible for what? That's a constant problem. And what should this particular project involve? Like what components should be involved in this project? And how can we find valuable resources to base our project upon? These are just some of the problems that you encounter as a student every single day when there is no Studemia to save you. Wilhelm, can you tell us a little bit about our market?
Yeah, of course. So Studemia is pursuing a huge, well-established and very technically oriented market, namely all the students. And our ironic but yet very honest selling point to these students is that by using Studemia, they will liberate more time for drinking beer. It's that simple. They love to drink beer. And we have to keep in mind that students, they don't have an abundance of money, so they're not our target customers. Instead, our business model will focus on the interaction between future employers and current students. And since we can easily target specific groups of students, we will also feature sponsored advertorials from employers. And another business model is to allow universities to pay for premium features that will allow them to interact more with their students, more than their current systems, which we think are awful at the moment. And how will we do this? Well, at its core, Studemia features a process where you can join a course and get a project or a group work up and running in no time at all. It's really easy. And our vision in the long run is to save students thousands of hours which they spend unnecessarily looking for resources and managing projects in inefficient ways. And we will do this by streamlining how they collaborate and share resources with each other. Let me give you a demo of what we mean. So currently we have support for all courses at university level in Sweden. And what you see here is a common area for the International Finance course at Stockholm University. We have some feed items here, which Eric and Linda has posted. We have all the members that have signed up for the course at Studemia. We also see some highly ranked course resources. And since this course has existed for quite a few years, students from previous semesters, they have created a lot of great content, like summaries, PDFs, images, etc. But it's all gone, like Marcus told you. It's stored away in some private Dropbox. But not anymore. With Studemia, this is just a click away. When you click here, Course Summary, you get an overview of the most liked summaries from this course, the most popular discussions that has taken place, maybe the most liked links, or the most popular lecture notes. It's a really easy way to get a great overview when you join a new course. What is this all about? What does people say about this course? And what is what are the things that I have to learn. So we think that this is a great feature when you're joining a new course. And me and Marcus, we're actually just about to start our bachelor's thesis. So we're going to go ahead and start a project for that. That's also really easy with Studemia. You just call it something. We love Studemia, very wrongly spelled. And I invite Marcus. And here's another great feature. We have what we call templates, which, based on what type of project you're about to create, you can choose a different template. So let's say that I'm choosing a bachelor's thesis here, because that's what we're doing. Studemia will automatically create a basic outline of what needs to be done for this specific project. And here it is, the fundamentals and the theory and the method and stuff. And you can easily modify, add, delete, and add assignees and deadlines. It's really easy. You can just choose like this. And when you're done with the task, you just click, you're done, and you get some instant feedback that your project is progressing. So this is really easy when you can speed up the project of creating. Yeah.
How are we doing time-wise?
We are out of time.
Out of time when you're creating your project.
There you go. Didn't mean to sneak up on you there, but we are out of time.
Yeah.
But I'm sure our judges can fill in the gaps by asking you some questions. I'm going to ask you to move over to those two microphones so we can get you all in the same view. Questions from our judges. Susan.
Because it's always difficult to do a demonstration in a presentation, so hopefully we'll cover things off. I think this is really topical, and it's a real sort of industry problem at the moment to get corporations, education and students to work together. Have you thought about or watched the feedback from universities and schools? Have you thought about how they feel about this and their contribution towards this kind of business idea?
Yes, we have been talking to 3 universities about the concept and what they actually think about it. Because, I mean, they are a bit skeptical about the fact that when sharing becomes so seamless and simple that they think that the creativity and the actual work from each individual will stop. We indeed do not believe that is the case. We think rather that by accessing old resources, you're not only scratching the surface on each subject anymore. If you can use resources from earlier terms, earlier generations, you can use this as a foundation to be able to dig deeper into the course or into the subject. I mean, people were complaining about Wikipedia when it came and said that it was too easy to access information. And we think it's pretty much the same concept with this.
Well, first of all, it's clear you're from Stockholm. Because, and I'm not saying because you look very Swedish, because that's not the way Swedes look. It's because what you've created is very clean looking, great design. So that's awesome. I think you're trying to solve 2 problems at the same time. I think on the one hand, you're creating a repository for all these notes and great information around specific topics. And on the other hand, you're trying to create a collaboration tool.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is the second thing is extremely hard and requires to cover a lot of different situations, and I'm not entirely sure you pull that off. The first one seems much more achievable. So, and again, I'm an outsider, I don't know, but I would focus on the first bit and focus on really getting it populated and getting it popular and getting it used and making that happen, and then see if you can add the second bit. But I think by trying to do both at the same time, you run the risk of diluting your effort.
Yeah, totally. As we said, it's 2 different problems, but the project management tool is the hardest part to make it really good. But we think that with all the templates, and they are like reusable components, if we create a project and we think that this template works really well, we can just share it so that future generations can reuse that template for like a bachelor thesis. And there's also opportunities for teachers to help with creating templates for like group works and stuff. So we think that is a step in the right direction, but we know there's a lot of work to do, but we really think that this is something that is missing in education, because you use these tools when you work every day, but you never use it in school. So you have to start somewhere, and we think that this is a very good step in the first direction.
Exactly. That was, this was supposed to be our end point, that we wanted to adopt how we work on real workplaces and adopt that into the universities to make it more efficient in how you work and collaborate with each other. And I know we're not quite there yet, but we've set the first stick or whatever, first thing.
I'd kind of echo what you said. I mean, I guess the challenge might be on that side is that I don't think every student behaves in the same way. Certainly my experience is some people are more structured and have process, and some people are a little more chaotic. So how you kind of make it work for both of those groups, and there's probably other cases. Just on the content side, I'd be curious to hear if you have any thoughts on how you kind of hot start the content in the system, so there's something there for people to get to when they first start using this tool, and it's not a kind of barren landscape.
Yeah, of course, the first iteration of the service or of the platform will be kind of barren because there won't be any content. But we want to create incentives for people to upload resources very quickly. They might get some kind of points or make gamification out of it, so that future employers also maybe can see that, oh, this is a good student. He has uploaded many documents. He's taking part in a lot of discussions, and we can see here what he says is really good. So it has to be some kind of incentives for people to upload things. And we think, actually, I see every day on my Facebook feed people asking for resources, and people actually send it. So why not upload it where everyone can access it? I think it's easier.
I mean, one other way maybe to work with the universities and the professors and tutors, because they obviously already have a lot of the stuff that's in the drawer, right, that they will be interested to put out there, ready for their students to use.
Yeah.
Is your customer the university or the student?
Pardon?
Your customer, who
That
is
will
your
be
economic customer?
primarily the universities, but also companies that want to get in touch with students with potential.
Okay, excellent. Good.
Since we can target, like, let's say you're a big bank somewhere and you want a new accountant, you can target only students at a master's in accounting in Lund. So it's like very targeted. Okay. You can't do that anywhere else.
Excellent. All right, well, what we can't do is ask more questions because we're out of time, but we thank you very much for your presentation. Good luck with the company, and nice job on your pitch.
Thank you.
So you go ahead and leave that. The crew will come out and do a swap out here while I have a chance to talk to our judges, who I think bring an interesting, diverse perspective. And I'm just curious, sort of, what are you looking for in the companies that we're bringing on stage today? Susan?
Yeah, so I can speak on behalf of Hewlett Packard UK and Ireland, and we've been working over the last 18 months to try and engage with a lot more small businesses, startup entrepreneurs. And, you know, for example, we have in the UK over 600 SMEs now in our supply chain, and we're actively working to try and drive that innovation. So I think if you take the example of the second pitch there, as I mentioned, it's highly topical to try and get education and the institutes around and establishments linked into big corporates like HP and other companies like it. Because whilst we innovate constantly, we run lots of R&D, you know, the future sits with those that are coming through that generation. So for startups, for us, we're looking at companies who can be part of our supply chain, companies who can, you know, invest in innovation, companies who can help us do more for our end clients. And it doesn't have to be something that's created by HP. So that's why we're here today and why we're sponsoring this event.
Excellent. And well, we can dig on that a little bit deeper in a minute. You were grabbing the microphone, so I don't want to take a moment away from you.
Sorry, over eager. I mean, it's a kind of bit flippant, but I think, you know, we're completely obsessed with founders who have got ridiculous ambition to build global businesses. So, you know, the people who stand up here and really want to take on the whole planet and do it quickly, like the guys we're going to get most excited about. I think this is what we want to see.
Excellent. What do you have an eye out for?
Yeah, we're also looking for people who try to change the world, and I think the nice thing, the earlier stage, the less painted your box is yet, so you're less constrained by reality, serving current customers, etc. So it's important that there's people who dream big. But then you want to see the flip side of either have you struck on to something where you're like, wow, that's a real hook, or that's a real kind of thing that can set the flywheel mechanism going, or do you understand the pain of the space so incredibly well that even if it takes 5 or 6 kind of twists and turns to figure out what's going on, you'll figure it out.
Cool. Excellent. Well, thank you for those insights, and I think that hopefully is a tip off to some of our next presenters to think about how they might also talk about their pitch.